All right. This is the part where we check this microphone. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Yep, talking to you. Yep, you right there. Let me know how the audio is and we'll get started.
Yeah, 1485.
1485.
Yeah, I could have a 10
Big brother trying to mess with my head. He whispers sweet nothing, things better left unsaid. We got our ears to the ground, our eyes wide open and keen. No gaslight, shadows gonna dim our screen.
You're watching Sleuth Intuition Live, hosted by Patrick Vallejos. He is here with the Sleuth crew. Here's Sleuth.
What up? What up? Looks like we are live, everybody. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. This is going to be our regularly scheduled broadcasting here. So that's Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays will be designated for members. And I do apologize about yesterday. So we're going to probably have our first members this coming Sunday. So, like we do every episode, we're going to hit you with some news. We're going to highlight a case. And then we're going to hang out and chat. We'll open up the phone lines. You can join me. It'll be an open panel. Or you can dial in. Yeah, we have the phone line set up now. So we're good to go. Today, we're going to hear from Mel. Not our Mel, not Cold Truth Mel, but Mel, Brian Koberger's sister, the other one. Right, she's decided to go public. New York Times got the exclusive. We're going to do a review on that. And then Professor Turco with the Delphi murders. His second interview with Indiana State Police was recently put out there on YouTube. So we're going to do a quick review on that. And then we'll get into our highlighted case, which is Susan Powell, her two boys, and how they were all murdered by her husband, Josh. Well, we know the two boys for sure were murdered by Josh. Her body is still missing. And there's also two other questionable individuals, including Josh's younger brother and his creepy father, Steve. So definitely a very strange case. And we're going to do a quick deep dive on that. That is the case of Susan Powell. But, oh, and look. Bam, we got the merch. This is my favorite right here. So I had to steal one of these hoodies. This is a 2X alternative media with the lowercase m for the media, right? Truth before media. And at the bottom it says Sleuth Intuition channel. Here, actually here. I put a little video together of the merch. I was going to just show it to you guys here. But the green screen was kind of messing with a lot of the font color choices that I had. So I just made a quick video. Hopefully I have it ready for you. Okay, here it is. Merch movie. All right, I'm really excited about this merch. Let's see. Clarissa, what's up? Welcome in. Sorry, I got some fuzzies stuck on my lip. Fibers or something. Camaro lover. It's good to see you. Feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Patty, welcome in. Exotic Prairie, thank you for your input, your feedback. I appreciate it. TJ Collins is in the building. What's up? Very creepy father. I mean, the dude is beyond creepy. He may even be the one that killed her, right? I mean, it's really not clear. It's most likely Josh, but I mean, it's very well that Josh's strange behavior is because he knows that his father killed his wife. Very strange case. How much? Let's see. Here, hold on. Let me put the video on first. Let's see if I can control it from here. So pause. So let me see. I have an inventory list here. So for the hoodies, that must be the extra large gray. Sleuth crew were everywhere with the sleuth green on there. Don't mind the cat scratches on my leather chair there. So these ones are 50. So just remember 50, 45, and 40. And you can pay through Cash App or Venmo. So we got that one. Aw, snap. What's up, Sensei? Flexing on them. Thank you for your support. Okay. So you got my 24-month badge. I am here. I am listening, but it's 3:13 a.m. for me. Hope everything's going well for everyone. The Susan Powell case breaks my heart. Yeah, it's beyond tragic. Thank you for your continued support, Sensei. Then we have the extra large Sleuth logo, which I believe that is on extra large. So that would be 50. And that's only because the weight. That includes the shipping. So that includes everything. You pay $50 and then boom, you should have it within 2 weeks. But this one right here is my favorite. Alternative media with the lowercase m. But wait till you see the hats. You guys are going to trip out on the hats. So there's, and you, if you want to do a custom order, you can just put them in, send the cash through Cash App or Venmo, and then put in your password. Just create a passcode. And then once you create that passcode, include it with your payment in Cash App or Venmo. And then when you email me, just put that in the subject line so that I know it's not some troll. Let's see. Let's go back. Did I skip one? Oh, no. Okay, and this one is Dangerously Curious. Another Sleuth hoodie. Those came out really sharp and bright. Oh, here, let's get rid of this banner. Beep. Technically, we've already started. All right, yeah, these right here are the shit. I have these in every size and every color. But right now, I only have the black and red if you want to do a custom order. Just so you know, I can do any color and any size. But if you do a custom order, the prices are the same. But instead of 2 weeks, it might take up to 3 weeks. But everything you see on the screen is what I have in that box right there. That's my favorite. Alternative media. That shit is sick. And I designed all these. They're just simple, you know, just a way for you guys to represent, support the operation here. Let's see. So I want to thank Sensei again. Yeah, these hoodies are really comfy. The XL seems to fit a little, I mean, typical your XL nowadays. So if you like it loose, oh, there's the hats. I would go with the 2X. But I am a little husky right now, so I don't know, maybe it's me. I don't really know about this case. I jumped out of true crime after Delphi went so crazy. Delphi is still getting crazy. Yeah, we're not done with Delphi. That case is not over. I promise you that. The membership, the link is in the description. Thank you. Do you ship to P.O. boxes or street addresses? Wherever. You send me the cash with your passcode. I'll send it. And then you email me with your passcode, and then we'll talk. I'll ask you, clarify your order. What do you want? And what's your shipping address? It's up to you where it ships. I could care less. Wherever you want to pick it up, that's where I'll send it. Oh, I paused that. But look at these hats. I was gonna wear one of these hats, but because of the green screen, you can it's like see-through. But look at the bottom on the brim. Tell me that's not dope. Tell me that is not the shit. So we have 4 of those hats. I stole 2. We had 6, but I think I'm gonna steal 2. Unless you guys order them quickly, and then I can just order me up, 2 other ones. But I really like the blue. But the black is like super bright. So yeah, that is the merch that I have right now. And custom orders, honestly, guys, with the hats, they all have to be those snapback trucker flat brim hats, like the ones I like to wear, like these. And I can do any color. I can do the Sleuth crew in any color. Like I said, you send the Cash App with your passcode or Venmo with your passcode to my email. That way I know it's you and it matches up with the payment. And then we'll communicate through the email about what you want and what you're looking for. But if you want it quick, I could probably have these out probably in a couple days. So maybe like a week and a half. Depends. TJ, the alternative media one, shit's fire. Yeah. Dude, yeah, definitely. This is definitely the best out of the bunch, in my opinion. Alternative media with the lowercase m. Right. We're out in the field, not the office. Jari, how you doing? Clarissa, if you go out of chat and open an extra stuff, there is a spot at the bottom that says members only and join. Yeah, there's 2 options. There's a $5 option and a $10 option. Oops, sorry, TJ. I love communities that support these great channels, so thank you, Sensei. Yeah, I get a lot of I have a strong group of people that I've been with for a long time. Exotic. This case is like the poster child, my lack for better wording, for dark family secrets. Yeah, and I know the majority of Mormon families, aren't really creepy, but super religious families kind of creep me out. That can go for anything, right? Catholics, Protestants, Mormons. But yeah, there's definitely like this really darkness, and it's tied in with the Mormon religion. Every religion has like a dark side. Love the new merch. Y'all better get them before someone else does. Yeah, these are going to go out quick for sure. And then I'll do a new batch. Maybe even some new designs. But yeah, the hats. Here, let's put those hats back up there. Come on now. It's fucking clean. TJ, wear 2X myself. Yeah, so any size, 2X, 3X, 4X. You guys wear a small. Right now I have a 3 extra large, 3XL, 1 3XL, white. Sleuth crew, we're everywhere. And it's a white hoodie. That's the biggest one I have right now. It's a 3XL. I think it should be on here. Let me see if I can find it. And we'll come back to all this merch later. I'm just really excited with quality of it. It's probably at the beginning. Oh shit, where did it go? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's a t-shirt. 3XL white t-shirt. The largest hoodie I have right now is a 2XL black with the red alternative media logo like the one I'm wearing right now. I'm in the UK, so sometimes I'm lurking, but still loyal. Definitely. OG. Do I just click on the money sign? I don't know. Let me see. So Cash App. Yeah, click on the money sign. Ooh, and I got a donation. Thanks for the tip. Exotic. Yeah, that was very generous. Yeah, so it looks like you click on the dollar sign. You hit pay. And then to find me, it's the dollar sign, Sleuth Intuition. And then in the comment, it's going to say, ask you what's it for, or add a comment to your payment. Just create your own passphrase. You know, it could be the number 1, it could be 007, it could be Sleuth smells like wet farts, you know, whatever, something silly. It just has to be something that only you know. And then when you email me at sleuthintuition@gmail.com, you just have to include that passphrase as your subject. You can even say merch and then include that passphrase. So once you send the payment, just send me an email. That way I can match you to the payment. It should be simple. No shipping costs, no nothing. Everything's included. All right, let's get on to business. All right, guys, like I said, we have a couple news reports, a couple cases I want to talk about, and then we'll go ahead and get into Susan and her boy's case here.
Breaking crime news.
All right, let's go ahead and put a picture of Mel up there, not to be confused with our Mel, Cold Truth. Shout out to Cold Truth. Now, this is Koberger's other sister. So she's finally decided to go public. And also, I wanted to give a shout out to whoever it was that recommended me the Samutra. Sumatra PDF reader. It's exactly what I needed. I think it might have been you, Bootleg. But I'm not sure. Thank you, Sensei. Yeah, if you could hit the like button. If you can't hit the Cash App and you can't grab any of the merch, just hit the like button. It's right there. It's free. Take care, Sensei. Avatar reminds me of the Quick and the Dead and the Western Forehead. Yeah, we're everywhere. Yeah, we ship overseas too. It's expensive, but whatever. Probably costs more to send it overseas than the item itself. But fuck it. We're everywhere. Gene Hackman doesn't get better that way. Better than that. Whoops. All right, so who is Mel? Well, Mel, short for Melissa. Melissa Koberger, one of two sisters of Brian. The other sister is named Amanda. The Koberger family grew up in eastern Pennsylvania and attended local public schools together. So she gave her first major interview to the New York Times. She was publicly discussing how the family has kind of coped since Brian's arrest, his plea, and then his ultimate sentencing, right? Okay, she says her family had no idea he was capable of or involved in the crimes. She described being completely shocked when she first learned he had been arrested. At first thinking a sibling was joking with her on the phone. Months before his arrest, she recalled warning him early in the investigation, months before his arrest. And I quote, that psycho killer was loose and urging him to be careful, not knowing he was the psycho killer. He was the perpetrator. She detailed the emotional toll the case and the media attention have taken on her and her family, including quitting a new job due to intense public scrutiny and online accusations that the family must have known something. She vehemently denied any knowledge or suspicion of his guilt before the arrest, saying she would have reported him if she had. Yeah, remember there was a rumor that she reported him. I think that was in an official document. She also called out aspects of true crime culture, urging more empathy and protection for victims, families, and people tangentially dragged into sensational coverage. All right, so we're going to go to a quick article. I believe this is from People. They kind of give us more details on what she was talking about. If you want to see the New Times article, I think you have to pay for your subscription. Go ahead and put this up on the screen here. For me, that's peak SS. I don't know about the leg crossing obsession. Oh, you're talking about Susan Powell and Steve? Clarissa, do you have time to you all about Emily's story on her memorial? Yeah, we can talk about anything at the end. Yeah, when we get to the end, it's open discussion. We can talk about any case, anything. You can even call in if you want. I've been wanting to talk with you guys about memorials in general, right? And kind of setting realistic expectations. Melissa and Amanda named after classic rock songs. Is that true? Okay, let's kind of take a closer look at what the article said and what Mel had to say to the reporter. Okay, need to know Brian Koberger's sister, Mel Koberger, broke her silence in a new interview published in New York Times, January 3rd. So just 2 days ago. Mel said her family had no clue that Brian was the killer and even recalled reaching out to tell him to be careful after learning of the November 13th, 2022 killings. Okay, in the 3 years since Brian Koberger killed 4 University of Idaho students, his family has stayed largely silent. Now one of his sisters is speaking out. Mel Koberger, one of his 2 sisters, broke her silence on Brian, who was sentenced to 4 lifetimes in prison without parole in 2025 after confessing to the 2022 killings. In an interview published in the New York Times on January 3rd, while Mel did not discuss the crime, she spoke about her childhood with Brian, her family's lives since his confession, and more. After first learning of the November 13th, 2022 killings of Kaylee Goncalves, who was 21, Madison Mogan, who was 21, Zaina Kernodle, who was 20, and Ethan Chafin, who was 20, when a then unknown suspect broke into their off-campus home, Mel said she reached out to tell her brother to be careful. Brian, you are running outside and this psycho killer is on the loose, she recalled telling him. In response, she said he told her he would stay safe and thanked her for her worry. Right? This is how these people are able to hide in plain sight. Right? Psychopaths, that's not the problem. There's a lot of people who are psychopaths and they just might be very driven at work. We're talking about sadistic psychopaths, people who get off on seeing the pain, and also those guys who are fantasizing about murder and sexual assault constantly to the point that they can't even control the urge any longer, like Brian. And this is how they hide. They commit the murders and they have no care. So his response, he told her he would stay safe and thanked her for her worry. Oh, isn't that sweet, sis? Don't worry, I'll be safe. I appreciate that. You know, I'll keep my head on a swivel. Was there an incident with the phone BK stolen from one of his sisters? I don't know. I don't think that was mentioned. I don't know. Sweet Melissa by Allman Brothers and Amanda by Boston. One can even argue for Mandy by Barry Manilow. That's a great song. What's up, Kelly? Kelly's in the building. GP. Good to see everybody. GP, Kelly, Jari, Bootleg, Exotic. Thanks again, Exotic. I really appreciate the support. Clarissa, let me know if you need any help. Luna, I missed you. Luna knows. TJ's in the building. Sensei. We do not train to be merciful in this dojo. Do we? All right. Mel described Brian to the New York Times as socially awkward, occasionally abrasive, and prone to arguments with her, but says she never saw him be violent, citing an instance in which he held her hands back to de-escalate a fight between them. Her parents, Marianne and Michael, taught herself, Brian, and their sisters, Amanda Koberger, to be loyal, self-reliant, and put others' needs ahead of their own, she told the outlet. When police broke into her parents' Pennsylvania home in the night to apprehend Brian following the killings, Mel learned of the arrest through Amanda. She thought it may be a prank at first and then became nauseated, she recalled. She was like, I'm with the FBI. Brian's been arrested. Mel told the New York Times. I was like, for what? Mel also focused on the impact that being thrust into a national spotlight, particularly given the true crime culture of today, had on her family. At the time of Brian's arrest, Mel was in the training stage of a position as a mental health counselor, which she agreed to leave after the employer received an influx of inquiries. People on the internet also found and dissected footage of Amanda acting in a 2011 horror movie that featured stabbings. Yeah, that was really creepy. I remember looking at that and going, damn, what the fuck is going on with this family? Someone has even used the author name Melissa J. Koberger to publish a book about the case, seemingly trying to capitalize on the killings using Mel's likeness, according to the New York Times. Mel described this as confusing and painful. That's some slimy shit right there. That is really slimy. Whoever did that, shame on you. It's like being victimized, but not really being a victim, she said. Well, you're a victim. You're one of Brian Koberger's victims, right? This is all part of the nuclear fallout. Others theorized that Kobergers had long known that Brian had killed the students, which Mel shut down in the new interview. I have always been a person who has spoken up for what's right, she told the New York Times. If I ever had a reason to believe my brother did anything, I would have turned him in. Mel also said that prior to the killings, she and her family had pride in Brian for becoming a doctoral candidate in the criminology program at Washington State University in the wake of the adversity he faced. He had dealt with bullying growing up, as well as heroin addiction. We were all so proud of him, Mel said, because he had overcome so much. GP, what's up? How you doing? The enemy deserves no mercy. Strike hard, strike first. Robert Bell, what's up? There is no way one person committed all 4 crimes. I think so. Because they were all pretty much isolated by floors. You know what I mean? It's not like you walked into a house in the middle of the day where you have a group of people in the kitchen, maybe 1 or 2 people sitting down on the couch watching TV, and then maybe 1 or 2 people lingering on the, in the backyard and the front yard, people coming and going. As soon as you hear commotion like that, everybody's going to come running. This is in the middle of the night. Everybody's inebriated. They're not quite sure what they're seeing. They're just not on their best game. They don't know if they're drunk. People are falling over and they're not moving. They're just confused and they want to go to sleep, and maybe even in the back of their mind they knew something really bad had happened. And they really couldn't, accept that or accept it. It is cheap and sick. That's disgusting. I can't believe somebody did that. You know what though? That happens a lot. Yeah, that's people with no morals that would do that shit. I agree with that. I thought they did turn him in. Kelly, so did I. I've even quoted that. I'm pretty sure I read that in a report. So if it wasn't Mel, maybe it was Amanda. But she seems to be trying to convey a message to the New York Times like, hey, I didn't turn him in. I would have. If I noticed anything, I would have. But I always heard that one of the sisters saw him walking around in surgical gloves and said, you know what, I think that's kind of weird. And turn his ass in. Just acting really strange, knowing that he just came from there, right? From Pullman. She also offered insight into the Koberger family now, explaining that they feel grief that Brian cannot be with them during the holidays. But this line of thinking would quickly turn to thinking instead of the families of his victims and their pain, she told the New York Times. The idea is making me so emotional that I can barely speak to you about it, she told the outlet through tears. Mel also shared regret about her own past as a true crime fan herself. Since being thrust into one of the biggest crime news stories in recent memory, it's human nature to be curious about darker things, she told the outlet. That's how we keep ourselves safe. But I think we should try and come together for a true crime culture that is way more protective and empathetic to the families of the victims, she added. All right, what do you guys think about that? You know, true or social media and the true crime community can be very helpful. Here I have something that I screenshotted earlier. Let me see if I can find it. It kind of goes with what we're talking about and what she's talking about, really. Man, I need to get organized here. Is this it? Oh, yeah. Okay, I just got lucky by clicking that one. Okay, so check this out. This is really kind of messed up, too. This goes to what she was saying about social media and how it can be harmful. Well, this is a story of how it could be helpful. Okay, we'll add that back up there. Okay, watch this video. Oh, you bitch. So she actually sprayed somebody's food. So this guy, he ended up eating it, him and his wife. His wife they both got really sick, but he was already sick. And the pepper spray like really messed him up, messed his lungs up really bad. And he saw a bunch of doctors and they said, yeah, like this caused you like a respiratory infection or something like that. And because of social media, they were able to like catch her and they sent him a bunch of money and he was able to pay his doctor bills. Like it was really like a positive thing. And that's all he kept saying. He like created a Twitter and he's like, thank you, social media. He's like, I never thought it could be such a powerful tool for good. So, I mean, in some cases, it's really helpful. And they've solved a lot of cases on social media, believe it or not. And we're just getting started, really. Yes, the gloves and cleaning his car with bleach. You know, that's kind of creepy. You got to think, even they seen him come in, they probably thought he was just one of the roommates or a guest. So they probably had no defenses up. Well, think about it. Nobody thinks that their roommates were just murdered in one of the most high profile crimes that we've ever seen, let alone in in the United States that we've seen ever in the world. You know, one guy who was fixated on serial killers and a guy that was bullied, and he kind of embodies that whole incel energy too, which is a big problem. You know, a lot of issues that we need to address. And then you got the drugs and not being able to stop somebody like that. All the red flags are there, But how the hell are you supposed to know that somebody's planning a quadruple murder in their little Pullman, Washington apartment? How are you supposed to know that? It's crazy. My son has a neighbor that walks around with those blue latex gloves you get from the hospital all the time. Mary, maybe he's one of those people. What do they call him? Hypochondriac or something? Germaphobe, exotic. With all the parties, etc., the roommates knew something was different that night. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So basically, you just don't expect there to be a quadruple murder going on, right? Oh my God, who's this weird guy in this mask? I'm drunk. This is scary. I'm all creeped out. Not quite sure what's going on. Oh, there's one of my friends. Here, let's stick together. Something's going on out there. Let's go to bed. I'm really drunk. We'll figure it out in the morning. They wake up, I'm thinking it was probably like a terrible nightmare. And then their worst fears were realized. Like, yeah, the creepy guy. Now our roommates are laying down. I don't even want to go look in the other rooms. Let's call the police. High traffic front door. Exactly. Even though in her gut she knew something was wrong, there was just enough deniability, I think. Is she the horror movie actress sister? No, that's the other one. Robert Bell. Kelly, I followed this case since day one. MPD lied about so many things. Have you read all the docs? PCA is a joke as well. These crimes take place 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Thank you, Jari. There's the email. If you need to get a hold of me, hit me up. Don't be shy. If you're just joining, check out the new merch. Boom. Alternative media. Lowercase m, bright red on black. Shit is sick. Stabbings are usually personal, and there's usually some type of connection. It's rare to have multiple stabbings to an unknown victim. Yeah, it is rare. Could be even like a one-off. But I think for him, for Brian Koberger, I think he wanted it to be personal. Not that it was personal as in passion, but personal as in up close and personal. I think he wanted to feel the blade going in. I think he wanted to, he wanted to be up close and personal. He wanted to feel it with his hands and his eyes. He wanted to have the total experience. He didn't want to just go in there and bang, 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 and then leave, like the Son of Sam or the Zodiac or something. Well, the Zodiac technically used blades and guns. Kelly says, yes, Suzanne Morphew, husband, and Dee Warner, husband, both stand trial for murders this year, thanks to true crimers. There you go. So it's not all bad. There's a lot of bad, like a lot of people anybody can just jump on social media. So you can't blame social media. You have to blame a certain type of person who they don't have any morals. Like TJ said, they just lack morals. There's no character there. It's almost like they themselves are kind of like predators in a way. Jules, True Crime, we got the video from 11:12 at 2 a.m. You can hear them being tortured. Bootleg blue-haired one is a see you next Tuesday. She probably saw an American flag and got triggered. Yeah, she definitely has that that lefty look. That Antifa. It's like she walked into the barbershop and said, give me the Antifa. Say less. Not to mention the DoorDash person. Yeah, that is interesting. The DoorDash part. Exotic for sure. Yep, absolutely. This is 100% personal. I don't know. I mean, you need to know the motive. Trauma factor. Kohlberger was something he wanted to accomplish. Yeah, he did. He was going to get his power. He was going to take control of his life. By doing what? Playing God. What does God do? tells you whether or not you're going to live or die. But not only that, he wanted to kill in a grandiose way and then enjoy it later. He wanted to relive it over and over. He wanted to absorb it through social media. And he probably would have done it again too. If they wouldn't have caught Brian Koberger, we probably would have seen maybe one or two more by now, don't you think? All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our crime news story number 2. Jeffrey Turco. All right, I'm going to play this little video that I made. And then we'll talk about it a little bit before we get into the Susan Powell case. Today we're breaking down a critical but often misunderstood piece of the Delphi case, a law enforcement interview with a Purdue University professor who was consulted about the alleged runic symbols found at the crime scene. This expert was brought in back in 2017 and asked to analyze a sketch of the stick formations, not photos, and what he concluded is important. The arrangement appears intentional and runic inspired, but no definitive meaning can be determined. His own words and any interpretation. Okay, so one thing I want to point out is he didn't see the crime scene photos. So you remember when Barb McDonald went on Court TV and she had an inside source? I think it was Michael Thomas. But she was sent like these sketches. There were a bunch of straight lines. It wasn't the sticks. It wasn't the crime scene photos. It was just kind of like a representation of what the design that the sticks were in. And that's what he looked at. So he doesn't know how accurate that is. He doesn't know how accurate the representation is. They should have showed him the actual crime scene photos. Is an educated guess, not proof of ritual sacrifice, not proof of Odinism, and not proof of religious motive. All right, guys. The Holman Turco interview was recently made public. Here are some clips that I highlighted that I thought you might like, that I thought were important. And make sure you guys leave a comment. Don't forget, Sleuth Intuition goes live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 to 10 p.m. That's Mountain Standard Time. And also Sundays for members only. And also we do have merch on deck.
Connection in the mythological poetry, these sacrificial connection, they would have been used. Again, one of the ideas about them is that they originally have magical significance, that they would have been used in incantations, in rituals. There is a sacrificial connection in the mythological poetry, to render something in characters. Yeah, it looks pretty clearly like runic. So one can certainly imagine that this was somebody's idea, that when you do a human sacrifice, you carve runes. There are some poetic sources that would sort of, again, support that.
What's up, Fishy?
It could be anything because it was not very deliberately put, or it could be, like you said today, it could have just been an amateur trying to do it. It's tough to say because it was not very.
All right, I want to pause that right there because I want to show you guys something. Actually, I think I already have it here. Okay, here we go. So this is probably what he was provided with here. Let me see if I can find the original F2. Oh, here it is. Share my screen. There we go. Oh, you can't even see that, huh? No, hold on. Let me see if I have another copy. PNG. Okay, here, we'll try this one. Okay. So this is the stuff that Barb had from her cop friend. She had that, and then she had this F, what they refer to as the F, right? Now, if somebody showed this to you, of course you're going to be like, "Damn, that does look like an F." But that's not what the tree looks like. And then also, if somebody showed this to you, all symmetrical, like this is not what the crime scene looks like. So if Dr. Turco is looking at an image similar to what Barb McDonald was sharing with Court TV, it's like, is he getting a fair representation of the crime scene? Right? That doesn't look anything like the crime scene. This is what the crime scene looks like. There is nothing symmetrical there. She says, "Did you get my email yesterday?" Yeah, I did. I sent you a response today. Yeah, I had a question for you. He said they didn't show him the F. Well, he asked him, "Did you show him the crime scene photo, a picture? Did you see a picture of the F?" Is what he asked him. He's like, "Did you see any pictures of these?" No. Did they show you a picture of the F tree? No. But I think he was shown some type of representation. The detective movie with Matthew McConaughey. I think that's a show, HBO. True Detective was a series, I believe. Deer antlers, yeah, that's pagan, but it's more. I get Wicca, and I told you guys from the beginning when I saw, um, when they first released the information about the crime scene and they were talking about the sticks. The first thing I thought about was witchcraft. And it's just interesting to hear Reese say those words, witchcraft, and that he said that Ron Logan told him that it was witchcraft, but that he didn't seem like it was very important to him. But when it came to Kagan Klein, he was very interested in staging the crime scene and trying to make it look a certain way. So it could have been just Ron Logan interpreting, the Satanism that Kagan was doing as witchcraft. All right, guys, we'll hang out in the chat here another 5 minutes. I'm going to go grab a bottle of water. If you guys need to go use the restroom, we'll use the top of the second hour as a quick little intermission. So I'll see you guys back here in 2 minutes. Don't be late. What's up, short bus? There you go. Grab your popcorn. I'm gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure he never saw anything regarding the F tree. I think he did. But let me know. I could be wrong. As someone that's personally studied witchcraft and a few different religions, my personal feeling is it was just to cover the bodies, but my gut tells me there is something very dark in this case. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I can't ignore it. Cannot ignore it. Nope, you just missed the news. We're getting ready to dive into the case highlight, Susan Powell and her suspected murder. We know that Josh Powell, her husband, killed the boys in a fiery house explosion. He filled the place up with gas and lit it up. And we know that Josh's dad, Steve, was obsessed with Susan. That's why they moved. That's why they moved to Utah to begin with, was because creepy Steve. And we're going to get into all of that. It's like one of the craziest stories, guys. Crazy, crazy. If you want to watch that full Turco video that I made, go to my YouTube channel. It's there. You can watch it. We ran out of time, so I didn't play the whole thing. Yep. That's true, Exotic. So many things are done in the name of religion. So many evil things, right? And I think that's why a lot of people turn to Satanism or turn away from God. They associate God with religion. And I think once you're able to do that, especially those of you who struggle with like going to church and all that stuff, because I really don't believe in church or religion. I think I believe more in a personal relationship. You know, something that you don't go around bragging about. I mean, it's good to boast, right? In the name of Christ, in the name of the Lord. That's good, but you know, I think it's better to pray in secret. She's probably in the bottom of one of those old mines that are there. That's the leading theory, actually. And I don't know if we're going to have enough time to get into like a geo profile, but maybe we will. Maybe we will have time. And I'm still kind of educating myself on this case and the location there, and the layout of the Utah landscape. Sorry, they didn't show you crime scene photos, but they basically gave you like a sketch of the right formation of the sticks. That's right. And did they give you a picture of the tree? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, did he? I think he's asking if he has his hands on any crime scene photos. So I'm pretty sure they showed him like this, a representation of the sticks and the F. And then just and then Holman was just double checking, like, do you have the photo? Did they show you those photos? Do you have copies? Like, that's a crime scene photo. Basically, right? That's part of a leak. That had the F on it? No. Okay. Just the sticks? Just the kind of rendering there? Yeah, the rendering is what he's saying. So he's still not clear whether or not the rendering includes the F or not. It may not, but I think that it does. I think because it's funny that we're talking about this because I re-listened to it a bunch of times right there, and I was like, well, it doesn't sound like he's saying yes or no. So I think he was giving, I think he still got a rendering basically just like this, but more like what Barbara McDonald had. Josh's brother jumped to his death. a year after Josh and kids died. Yeah, his younger brother. It's believed that he helped him to conceal the murder. Either that or they both knew that their father, Steve, was a serial killer or something, or that he was responsible for the murder. He was a really creepy guy. He has serial killer written all over him. That's my opinion about that guy. All right, if you guys are just joining, we got the new merch, so it's gonna go quick. We've already made a couple sales. Probably by tomorrow, it'll all be sold out. Just hit either the Venmo or the Cash App. It's 50 for the hoodies, 45 for the hats, and 40 for the shirts. Free shipping. Make sure you create a passcode in the note area of your payment. So you while you're sending the payment, go ahead and leave attach a comment or a note to it with just create a passphrase. Once you send the payment, email me, and in the subject line write merch and then your passphrase, and then we'll start talking about what you want and what you're looking for. This is the unboxing, and we can order anything you want. So if you don't like the colors, you can get let's say a yellow hoodie and purple colored writing. Really whatever. And any size that you want. It just might take a little while. Everything that I have right now I can ship out to you quick. But if you do like a custom order, you can still send the cash and then just say, hey, I want to do a custom order. But it's going to take probably 6 days more. 2 weeks and 6 days probably. Maybe less, but a little bit longer. The one I'm wearing is a 2X. It fits me nice and loose, not too tight, not too loose, but a little bit baggy. Tell everyone his religion is a very personal relationship for every individual. That's the way it should be, right? I don't trust these atheist preachers, man. They come in there, they don't believe in God. So that's the one I'm wearing right there. Alternative media, lowercase m. The way I understand it is didn't, but I've been wrong before. I don't know. I'm just saying that in the interview, I don't think it's clear. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I listened to it like 4 or 5 times, and for me, they did not make it clear whether or not he saw the F or not, or Libby's tree, or a representation of what was on the tree. It sounds like he did. He said, yeah, only a rendering. Right? He didn't say no F, just a rendering of the other two. He said no photos, just a rendering. So right there I was confused. Like, did he see the F or didn't he? I don't know if her remains will ever be found, sadly. I don't know. It depends on who's willing to go look, It takes man hours, people to actually get out there and go look or do what we're doing, do a little bit of geo profiling, try to anticipate where she might be, what they might have done using the facts that are surrounding the case. Unfortunately, the boys apparently had just started talking. They had just started getting ready to talk and explain what had happened, and he killed them. Alternative media. So it's 50 for the hoodies, 45 for the hats, and 40 for the t-shirts. That includes shipping. And if you want to do a custom order, just send the money and let me know. I can do any color, any size. There's the Cash App right there. Basically the dollar sign and then Sleuth Intuition. Same thing for Venmo, I'm pretty sure. And if you have any problems finding, I have them linked in the description. You should be able to find the Venmo and the Cash App there. Oh yeah, but tell me these hats aren't fucking fire right here. Yeah, I had to steal two. I stole one of the blue ones and one of the black ones. But if you guys order them, I'll send them and I'll just order my, get myself some other ones. So under the brim right there, it says Sleuth Crew, and then under the brim it says we're everywhere. There's the black one. Pretty nice. So we're going to sling some merch. It's kind of like a fundraiser. Get you guys some merch. And you'll be helping me out a lot. I love orange and black. Well, there you go. Shoot the Cash App. That would actually look nice on a hat too. Just orange and black. Maybe I'll add that to my next order. But yeah, if you want a custom order, just send the cash, a passphrase, and then let me know what you want in the email. But make sure you include your passphrase in the subject line. Check your stuff out, and I might order me a hoodie and a coat. Yeah, whatever you guys want. Like I said, all you got to do is send a Cash App or Venmo, create a silly passphrase or something personal to you. That way I can attach your payment to your email and I know it's you. That way we don't have any trolls going, oh yeah, it's me. They send me an email and they're not the ones that sent me the money. So the passphrase is something private between you and I. Which one's that? Excuse me. Let's see. That might be the 3X. Yeah, I have a 3X white t-shirt. Yeah, I think I just skipped it. That one. And the thing about these t-shirts is they're like the logos on them are really big. Like that's what I like. It takes up the whole front of the hoodie. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let me close some of these folders down. Damn. What's going on, Luna? All right, let's go ahead and dive into the Susan Powell case. This is the part of the live stream where we get into a highlighted case that I've selected, and today that's going to be Susan Powell and the murder of her two boys by her husband, Josh. Let's get into it. All right. So I think we should probably start with the timeline. So let's pull this up. So before the disappearance, So between 2000 and 2009, she went missing in 2009. Now we had some kind of rising tension in the marriage. Susan Marie Cox was born October 16th, 1981. So let's go ahead and put her up on the screen. Yeah, she had really pretty eyes. What's up, Boston? Welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, I like that one too. I was like trying my best not to be like, oh, that one's mine. That one's mine. Oh, I want that one. I was like, no, I'm just going to grab 2 of these hats and then 1 of these hoodies. Some skull caps. We can get some skull caps. Same, probably, I would say probably the same price as a t-shirt. So yeah, we can definitely do that. Boston, hope you're staying warm. Okay, Susan, she was born October 16th, 1981, married Joshua Josh Powell after meeting in Washington. So, I don't know if you guys, any of you are Mormon or you have Mormon family members or grew up in a Mormon neighborhood. Well, here in Arizona, it's kind of hard not to. Almost every neighborhood is a Mormon neighborhood. So you grow up with, neighbors, friends, or whatever. Well, growing up with Mormons, I learned that they have like a singles night or a singles group. So if you're going to church, you have church for like the married people, and then you have church for the single people so they can get you hooked up so you can start making babies. Right? So there was a lot of that going on in the Mormon church from what I remember. And it sounds a lot like that's what happened, and that's how these two met, was at one of these singles gatherings or something similar to that. Take care, TJ. Hope you feel better. Oh, congrats. Yeah, my little guy just turned 4 months today. He's so big. Yeah, happy birthday to her. Congratulations. Okay. Over time, Susan confided in family and in private writings that she feared for her safety and was unhappy in the marriage. In hidden videos and journals, she worried that if something happens to me, it may not be an accident, even if it looks like one. So let's go to a video. She's basically, doing like a video inventory of all of her belongings, and it's very cryptic. This is probably about a year before her disappearance. Let's take a look here. She's acting like it's in case of a fire or something like that, but the truth is she's thinking more along the lines of divorce.
This is me, July 29th, 2008. It is 12:33 Mountain Time.
That's Susan.
Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented. Hope everything works out and we're all happy and live happily ever after as much as that's possible. Charlie.
See, she knows something's going on.
Say hi.
She's foreshadowing. Very cryptic.
Today is Tuesday, July 29th, 2008, and we are in the 6254 West Sarah Circle house. This is me. Hi.
Jeez,
Sorry.
really.
And it is, can you see that? 11:44 a.m. And I am documenting all our assets.
It's really sad to see the little boy just kind of walking around, you know. Just to know 1 year from this video, his own father took his life.
Just in case
Killed his
of
mother
any
and took his own
emergencies,
life.
fire, flood, damage, disputes. And we have
Disputes.
2 Samsung monitors. And this is Josh's computer, and there's some type of backup device and speakers. And here's the kind of pimping out stuff he's done to his computer. He built it himself. I think there's like 5 hard drives, something about doing raids. There's those for all the computer geeks. And Josh locked this, but this is all of his files. See? Locked. Those are his files. And he bought expensive stuff like these are, I think this was like a couple of $1,000 of like, it says graphic design templates by Stock Layouts or something like that. All right, here's our unfinished basement. We bought 3,000 pounds of wheat, and these are buckets of wheat. See? And this one, whoops. Chemical-free hard white wheat with mint green gum and wheat with mint gum.
Okay, for that person who just sent the Cash App, go ahead and shoot me the email now, and I'll get back to you.
So there's a whole bunch of boxes or buckets of it. Here is a rigid saw. I don't know the differences.
Include that
This is
passphrase.
a chop saw. Oh, there we go. It says miter saw utility vehicle MSUV. Oh, that's the holding thing of it. And there is a shop vac. This is all stuff bought in a year or less through Home Depot on my credit. Josh bought a lot of stuff, and then he had to bankrupt it. And then he bought a little more on my credit. There's a nice lamp. These are things to roll wood with. Oh, there's his RC car. It's pretty pimped out. You can see
Pimped
that
out.
stuff. I think he's got.
I remember this is right around the time of Pimp My Ride with Exhibit. You guys remember that? So
Probably a 3,000 worth of supplies in the RC car world. It's a beauty salon chair. We got Verco chairs. And here is our safe. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to press the code. Okay. So things are fairly organized. We've got all sorts of, it's all thanks to me trying to save them. A whole lot more tools. So we bought drill sets. There's a nail gun by Boss Stitch. There's a rigid small drill.
oh yeah, what a pathetic
A
man.
Milwaukee drill. A rigid,
Sad excuse of
I
one
think
anyway.
that's a sander of some sort. There's another rigid saw. Paint supplies. This is all of Josh's
Mommy.
RC car stuff. You are with me.
That's cute.
I'm told it's like worth $3,000.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Lots of it everywhere. There's more RC car parts.
But you guys kind of get the point. So she's kind of going through all this crap, and he's already filed for bankruptcy. He's already like maxed out all her damn credit cards. But I mean, this isn't even the creepy stuff. Like, this is nothing. This is just like, hey, we're in kind of a shitty relationship kind of stuff. Like, you haven't seen anything yet. All right, let's continue on here. December 6th, 2009. Susan, Charlie, and Braden attended church in West Valley City, Utah. A neighbor saw her around 5 p.m. The last time anyone outside the family saw her alive. Yeah, his little voice. A year from this video, around just roughly a year, um, he'd he'd get murdered by his own father. It's like just saying it out loud, you're like, yeah, like what the fuck? How does something like this happen? Well, I'm going to show you. I think it all starts with Steve. Okay, so that was December 6th. December 7th, family reported the entire Powell family missing after the children were not dropped off at daycare and Susan didn't show up for work. Police searched the home and found the house empty, but Susan's purse, wallet, and ID were still inside. Her cell phone was found inside the family minivan. So check this out. So it's almost like they were missing. They're like, oh my God, the entire family's missing. Where'd they go? Cops show up at the house. This is what they find. Now tell me this isn't strange. Who goes camping with and leaves two fans pointed at a wet floor? And what was on the floor? Josh was raised by his deviant father. It shouldn't have been a surprise that he did this horrible thing. I agree. I mean, we're going to see when he was young, he kind of showed signs of psychopathy. Didn't he get rid of the kids' toys the days before they were brought to his house to visit? I'm not sure about that, Luna. We're going to hear a 911 call from the social worker that was at the home right before Josh decided to kill him and his two boys. $3,000 RC car. The first 7 automobiles I owned were all $3,000 or less. And wifey pays for it, Josh. Yep. And we're going to watch his police interrogation video. He tries to act like he's some like tech savvy business guy, but he's not. He's a parasite. And this is one thing that stood out to me too. So they're missing. December 7th, nobody shows up to what they're supposed to. The kids don't show up to daycare. Mom's gone. They kick in the door or they bust out one of the windows and open the door and they come in and they find this. To me, this kind of looks like maybe somebody was sleeping on the couch. I just can't really tell who. Maybe mom, because all the toys are all around. And this is where they have the fans. Right here by the couch. So if she says, I want to leave you, I'll go sleep on the couch. You have the bed. And then he comes out and attacks her. Kids are asleep, right? Just like Chris Watts. Calls his brother. Brother shows up and says, this is what we got to do. They clean up and they leave town. Okay, so police searched the home and found the house empty. But Susan's purse, wallet, and ID were still inside. Her cell phone was found inside the family minivan. If you're going to run away, you're going to take all your shit with you. December 8th through 9th, police discovered traces of Susan's blood inside the home, indicating foul play. Josh told authorities he and the boys had gone on a spontaneous winter camping trip, a story investigators later questioned. Here, let's watch a couple videos that I pulled.
Hey, I'm Chris Jones from Tennessee. How are you? Okay. Yeah. How you doing? I know this has been difficult for you. What's going through your mind today?
Well, I've been trying to figure out what I can do so I don't sit idle.
You're a weird guy.
I'm dealing with this repeatedly.
Sure.
I was just going to go in and get my kids because, you know, they're
How are they doing?
They've been doing good. That's what I can tell.
How about you? I mean, I know this is difficult.
Exactly.
How are you doing? I mean, this is such. It's got to be a lot of emotions going on for you.
You know, people have been really helpful and supportive, so it's been really hard, but you know, you just keep going.
What can you tell us about that night? I mean, from what we understand, you went camping and then came home. Tell us what happened that night.
Yeah, a lot of times I just go camping with my boys. You know, not anything big. I just go overnight and we do s'mores and stuff like that. And so I just went with the boys. I was planning to, and we did. And then when we got home, well, on the way home, I found out that people were worried about us and we were missing.
And the report is that neither you nor your wife called in sick.
I don't know, Bootleg.
They said that that's not usual. What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's not usual.
I guess why didn't you call in sick?
You know, I didn't. I was somehow thinking that it was.
You know, I used to go camping off the cuff like that by myself, right? Going into freezing temperatures and shit like that. When you're young, you don't care. You know, a bottle of whiskey, boom, you got that cowboy heater. You don't give a shit, right? You can handle it, but you don't take your little boys with you. That, you know, that's for sure. That doesn't make any sense.
Sunday. I didn't go to church, and
not in the middle of the night.
I just missed a day, and
they should be asleep.
Go come back Sunday.
So you got confused on what day it was.
Yeah.
Now, from what we understand, there's nothing. Looks like no foul play in the home. It appears that your wife left her cell phone and purse. I mean, do you have any? I mean, does she go off to sort of maybe clear her head? I mean, do you have any idea where she could be?
No,
so weird.
I mean, she'll leave during the day, but she's never left overnight.
Does she have any enemies that you can think of that would?
I can't think of anyone.
Now, a lot of talk on the internet. I mean, obviously in cases like this, and you know this, that they instantly talk about the husband. They think that he's the suspect, that he did something. Is there anything you want to say to
it's
address that?
Different with two little boys like that.
I didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know where she's at.
Damn, he just seems so guilty.
I don't even know where to start looking.
And the boys, I mean, what do you tell them about them?
I haven't told them anything. I mean, they've overheard stuff, but I haven't. I mean, by the time it all started, I was already it was already late and went to bed.
Well,
you've been hectic ever since.
Now, your wife laid down that night, right? She wasn't feeling well, is that? And then that's when you went camping, right? Where'd you guys go camping?
Well, she wasn't not feeling well.
Oh.
She was feeling well.
Oh.
But she just went to bed.
About 5-ish, is that what we heard? We heard 5. I don't know if that's true. You would know better than we would.
No, she went to bed that night.
And what time did you go camping, would you say?
I got out to a pretty late start.
9-ish, something like that?
No, it was.
It's like
later.
his comfort beanie.
Okay.
Basically, I'm just trying to figure out what I can do, and both try to find her and try to take care of life in general.
Okay. Where do you guys camp?
We went down south to some trails down there.
Do you mean like Moab area?
No. We actually just went down to the Pony Express.
Pony Express Trail?
Yeah.
Okay. There campgrounds down there?
Yeah,
I'm not
I guess
familiar with the
there's a few.
area, so yeah. Okay.
But I guess I better go.
Okay. Well, good luck to you. We appreciate you.
All right, let's take a look at the location he was talking about. So the minivan also pinged, I think, right here, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Let me shut off my camera real quick. It's like causing some issues for some reason. Okay, so there is the Pony Express Trail. Oh my goodness. How's my stream going right now, guys? So this is where he told them that he went. Let me see. I think So this is what he told law enforcement what he did, right? He left home. Yeah, that's the Powell home. Stopped in Tueli. Am I saying that right? And then eventually went camping out in Simpson Springs. So I would have to guess she might be somewhere in between here, right? She could be anywhere. Or he could have went camping with his boys and then had his brother go take her somewhere or get rid of her. And that could be why he later took his own life. He's still lethargic, acting like a deer in the headlights, trying to think what to say. Well, it's affecting him in such a way that even when he thinks about it, it's like a lie detector test, right? But exasperated a little bit, kind of exaggerated. you know, sometimes when people are lying, it's very subtle, and then the lie detector picks it up. But we can see it here exaggerated with him. Like every time he thinks about her or what might have happened, like he almost becomes ill. It's just something. It's undeniable, and he doesn't have control over it. And he has this little beanie that he has on. It's kind of like his comfort beanie. He even wears that during his interrogation. We're going to watch that in a minute. Yeah, he's going. He's got that Elvis thing going on. Trying to get him fucked up and admit something. Yeah, he was doing a really good job. He like tried to ditch the reporter like 4 times, and the reporter's like, "Yeah, well, anyway, you're gonna tell me what the fuck you're doing." It's like he saw the bitch in him, right? He's like, "Oh, you're a little bitch. I'm just gonna kind of take advantage of you. You ain't going anywhere. Answer my questions." Thank you, Jari. Hit the thumbs up. Well, shit, I'll probably drop more F-bombs than anybody. And his brother car ends up in the junkyard. There you go. So his brother, he calls his brother like, "Hey, I just killed my wife. I just killed Susan. I'll be over in a minute. Don't say anything," right? Gets there, helps him clean up, and says, "All right, you went camping, right? You go camping, and I'll take care of her." I think that's what happened. Yeah, at least it wasn't a mother effer. Okay, we are running out of time, so let's pick and choose here. Maybe let's go to Steve. All right, who's Steve? Who's Steve Powell? Here, I think I have a video on Steve too. This will speed things up. All right, let's look at Josh and his dad, Steve.
What is the truth?
People who know me know that
Fucking creep.
I'm a good dad.
I'm a good
I work
dad.
hard. I put my sons
With
first.
my fucking lip.
I was a good husband. I took care of my family.
And I see you're still wearing your wedding band.
Yeah,
You still love her?
Look, he can't even answer that. Fuck no, he doesn't love her. He hates her.
yeah. I guess you could say that I still love her.
At times, he stopped the interview, claiming he needed time to collect himself.
Why take your 2 young sons camping after midnight,
Thanks, Jari.
freezing cold temperatures?
Well,
He laughed.
we just go out and do things that are fun.
But it's
We just go out.
cold temperatures.
Well, we just go out and do things that are fun.
But it's after midnight. You know, shouldn't your sons be sleeping? Weren't they sleeping?
People who know me,
Exotic says in his mind she was a hoe. Well, I think his father convinced him that they were like having a secret relationship, like his wife was cheating on him with his own dad. But I think that was a lie. I think that there's a possibility that Steve, Josh's dad, is the one that killed his wife, and him and his younger brother know it, and that's what's killing them, and that's what caused them to kind of lose their minds.
know that time is
Maybe.
hard for me to keep track of. I tend to be spontaneous. I do things in the spur of the moment.
Why not call work the next morning to say, hey, I was out camping, I'm not going to be in today?
To be honest, Saturday was a blur. I was convinced it was still Saturday.
And the search for Susan Powell continues. Just last week, West Valley.
You know what I bet was going to happen? I bet you he was going to take those boys and kill them and kill himself. And I think he called his brother, and his brother came over there and saved him and said, look, you just stay out there and I'll clean up over here. He probably thought everything was over. And that's why he eventually, did the whole murder suicide thing. I think he was probably going to do it that night. And his brother may have talked him out of it.
City police following up on new leads, searching these abandoned mines in the Nevada desert for clues. While Josh and his father, Stephen Powell, have been making parts of Susan's old journals public, claiming it provides possible reasons for her disappearance.
What do those journals tell you about Susan's life growing up?
Susan was very emotionally abused as a child. Her mother.
Okay, so now you see him kind of painting her in this negative light, right? She has all this childhood trauma, that's why she's acting out. So he's painting her as the problem. And he's creating kind of like the foreshadowing and the ambiance and the atmosphere, trying to establish that.
She has a very angry
planting the
personality.
seed.
Her father is very manipulative.
Josh Powell claims that at times Susan was unstable, had even contemplated suicide at different points in her life.
She has walked out the front door in her underwear, started walking down the street.
See, that's just something like if you cared about your wife, you would never want to hurt her reputation or anything like that, right? If your loved one or your wife, your husband, your spouse, whatever, fucks up, and if you really are a ride or die, or if you have their back, you're going to keep that a secret. You're not going to go around advertising that, trying to hurt this person that you care about or paint them in a negative light, right? If anything, you're going to do the opposite. And he's just he's trying to paint her in a very negative light, in my opinion.
And at the time when all this stuff was happening, it was mortifying to me. I tried to protect her from doing things that I thought might embarrass her or our family in that respect,
Josh says he thinks Susan may still be alive.
He's like, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now. It's okay to embarrass our family now because I need to kind of establish this narrative. Okay, because we are running out of time, let's go further into who Steve is.
On January 20th, 1976, to Steve and Terry Powell. He also grew up in Puyallup, Washington. And as I mentioned, he and his siblings were also raised in the LDS Church. When Josh was 16 years old, his parents ended up filing for divorce. And according to the court documents, their divorce involved not only serious conflicts over parenting and also religion, but there were also very disturbing allegations of polygamy and...
Okay, so I think Steve... Josh's father has CSAM charges on him. In these divorce papers, apparently he would show porn to Josh when he was a little kid. Like, that shit's sick.
Even witchcraft. Steve
witchcraft
on January.
More of the witchcraft shit. So these are just little clips that I kind of
in witchcraft because she had studied herbs and natural healing, and Steve said that she mixed this with her Mormon beliefs, and he used that as his proof that she was, quote, practicing witchcraft and devil worship. Meanwhile, Terry said that Steve shared with Josh and with his two brothers, the children, and claimed that Steve was this mentally unfit parent that needed true psychological help. What's also in the court documents is a very disturbing really portrayal of Josh, who, remember, was just 16 years old at the time. Josh was described as a seriously troubled teen who had once attempted suicide, killed his pet gerbils, once threatened his mother with a butcher knife over an argument.
Killed his pet gerbils. Jeez. Okay, here we go. So we'll do one more on Steve. Yeah, I think we just didn't have enough time. Here, let's go to this one. This is probably going to be the best one to give you an idea of who Steve was.
The newest member.
Verde.
I'm sorry.
No, we're not idiots. We don't butcher the Spanish language.
You don't. This is the newest member of Susan and Josh's family.
It is our baby.
TFL's new investigative podcast series, Cold, enters its second week with more bombshell revelations, this time dealing not with Josh Powell, but instead his father, Stephen. Front and center, boxes of evidence seized from his Washington home. In them, dozens of disturbing videotapes.
Some were used in his voyeurism trial in Washington, but
Voyeurism.
most of them sat in storage at West Valley Police Headquarters for nearly a decade.
Yeah, David, the only people to see them were detectives, Steve himself, and KSL investigative reporter Dave Colley. Dave, everyone's anxious to find out what in the world you found.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty crazy stuff. Digging through those tapes and the other evidence police seized, I learned two things. Stephen's claim that he had a mutual intimate relationship with his daughter-in-law was anything but, and his infatuation with her went way beyond
this shit is
anything even the police
bizarre.
might have imagined.
This is the greatest shit I've ever seen.
Here, let me just get a picture of you two.
For years, Steve Powell lived with a camcorder in his hand, videotaping important events. Weddings, graduations.
Hey, Josh, wait. There you go.
But look closer at these moments captured on camera, and you'll see a startling pattern. Regardless of the occasion, Steve Powell focused his lens on one thing.
Hold your hand up, please.
Susan.
Great. Now we will no longer look at your fingers. We'll look at you. Now.
So creepy.
There's too much.
To not further victimize Susan.
Did you hear what he said?
won't-
He said, I want her. So he's secretly filming his son and his son's wife and doing God knows what in that van while filming her, talking about how he wants his son's wife.
Won't show you most of Steve's videos. The majority details Steve's fantasies about Susan, which are sexually explicit. But to understand the family turmoil she endured, you need to see how Steve fixated on her from the very early days of her marriage.
You're too close.
Yeah, you're too close. Back up.
Steve's own journals reveal his infatuation became perversion and persisted through the years.
You know, she was very open in a sexual way.
And he was vocal about it after she disappeared, claiming Susan was a willing participant.
It was definitely a romantic obsession, yeah.
Okay, so imagine you're being, let's say Josh didn't kill his wife, right? Let's say he did just go camping. And remember, they moved. They were living with this guy. They were living with Steve. They got married and they were living with him. And then when he started becoming obsessed with Susan, they said, we got to get the hell out of here. And they left. They moved. They went out to where they were at in Utah and where all this happened. So I think it is possible that they did go camping because Josh just seems like an idiot. Like something's not, he has a couple screws loose. So maybe he did just lose track of time, went camping, you know, for whatever reason, maybe there was an issue. And he knew that his father was obsessed. And maybe he knew that his father killed his wife. And that's why he's acting the way he is. Because look at Steve. Susan's missing right now. And the media is all up in Josh's face. And here's Steve, Josh's father, talking about how he had an intimate relationship with the woman that's missing. It just seems so odd. It's so bizarre. He's like the wild card in this entire case. I think there's a good chance that he's somehow involved with the murder.
I mean, you know, Susan's a beautiful woman, and when a beautiful woman comes onto you like that, it's really hard to resist that kind of a thing. I mean, maybe it's just me, probably inappropriate, but I admit those things were going on.
But no one knew the depth of his obsession until investigators stepped foot in his bedroom.
It was a house of horrors when we went through there.
Police were there to retrieve Susan's childhood journals. Journals Steve spent years swiping and scanning. And journals Josh and Steve had intended to publish to paint Susan as promiscuous. But that plan backfired.
Yeah, that opened the door for us. That gave us the search warrant that got us into the house. That found that and much more evidence. Yeah.
Inside a locked filing cabinet in Steve Powell's closet, police found evidence that his self-proclaimed relationship with Susan was one-sided. He stalked her, videotaping her from inside his car. He stole her personal items.
Good chance.
Her underwear.
He killed her.
Nail clippings. Hygiene products. And he doctored photos of her and used his camera to build his collection.
20 to 25 detectives there, and we all went, wow. We were like, that's crazy.
So crazy, it bordered on delusion. Steve spent years convincing himself that Susan loved him back.
And I know she felt it. I mean, I know she couldn't have missed it. She's not naive either, I know from what I've read in her journals. But if she didn't notice that, she did. She had to.
Sometimes Susan knew she was being filmed. Other times, she had no idea. We found one tape when Steve realized he was recording that captured the moment that he professed his love for her.
You can hear
So
exactly
he told
how
her that he was falling in love with her, and she's like, "Oh, like what the fuck? Like that's gross." And then they had to bail. They moved out, and then she was killed. So I don't know. I think there's a chance that he did it, and his sons just panicked. They didn't know what to do. Maybe they've been manipulated and controlled by him their entire lives. You know, just a theory, but it's most likely Josh being more of a byproduct of that, right? Let's talk about one more thing, and then we're going to get out of here. This is the Molly Hunt catfish account that they built together. This is another bizarre twist in the case. Okay, check this out. What was Molly Hunt? In June 2010, Josh and Michael Powell created a false. So Josh, of course, is Susan's husband, the prime suspect in her murder and her disappearance, and Michael Powell is his younger brother. They created a false Facebook profile under the name Molly Hunt and used it to join and monitor private Facebook groups dedicated to finding Susan and discussing her disappearance. Now, remember, when we were talking with Chandler in the Maura Murray case, he's like, one thing I've learned by spending all this time on this true crime case is that if you're a true crime content creator covering a story, you are most likely communicating with the killer. And this is what he's talking about right here. And I believe that Richard Allen, with the Delphi murders, the convicted child killer, I think he was doing the same thing. I think he was up in the Delphi chats. He was watching the YouTube videos. He was on all the Facebook groups. And that's what these guys did here. And they called it Molly Hunt. The account joined groups like Friends and Family of Susan Powell and Where is Susan Powell, and posted messages intended to blend in with others following the case. The purpose, according to police documents, was to observe conversations and possibly influence or distract from discussions about Josh's potential involvement in Susan's disappearance. So you have to be really cautious, guys, when we're covering these cases and we're doing our amateur sleuthing and our amateur investigations, to just remember that these people that are involved in the crimes that we're covering are taking countermeasures. They are literally trying to take control of the narrative. So if you feel like you're getting close to something, and this is not to be confused with YouTubers who are re-victimizing the family and they're being attacked, right? They're being like trolls are attacking them. Well, they're being attacked because they're victimizing family members. They're not revealing some kind of great secret about the case. So I don't want that to be confused. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are actually getting close to the truth, right? Not people who claim to be getting close to the truth, but are really just, victimizing family members of murdered children. Don't get those two things confused. I'm talking about podcasters, journalists, YouTubers, and people like that who have really dived into certain cases, are getting close, they're uncovering things. That's when the killers are going to start joining their Facebook groups, maybe even becoming a member of the Sleuth crew, right, under some kind of fake name, and just observing and doing their best to control the narrative. It's very scary. So remember, it was Chandler that taught us that. He said that if there's one thing that I leave you with, Sleuth, the killer, he's here, right? Any case that you're covering, the killer's right here in the group, following everything on social media. And that gives me the chills. Okay, let's see. What else? Let's going on with this account. So police became aware of the fake account in August of 2011 during Operation Tsunami, when they had a wiretap on Josh's phone and intercepted conversations where he and Michael talked about the Molly Hunt account and its login information. Investigators later traced login activity for the account to IP addresses linked to Michael in Minnesota and Josh in Washington, confirming the brothers were behind it. Jeez. Slimy. Josh is a real slime ball. Molly Hunt was not a real supporter or friend of Susan. It was a deceptive profile used by Josh and Michael Powell during the investigation. The account's activities were uncovered in law enforcement as part of a deeper scrutiny into the Powell family's actions about Susan, how Susan went missing. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We really didn't have time to take calls or anything, so I do apologize. It's good to see you, Cindy. How you doing? Yeah, Chandler. If he's part of the replay crew, go check your emails, Chandler. Yeah, maybe we can get him back on for Sleuth Intuition Live and dive into Delphi, because I know he follows it. And if you guys missed it, there's the new merch, and then right here too. Alternative media, lowercase m. Then underneath it says Sleuth Intuition. And then we also have a bunch of these hoodies. Here, let me start this over. So just remember 50, 45, and 40. 50 for the hoodies, 45 for the hats, and 40 for the t-shirts. We only accept Cash App and Venmo. Make sure you create a secret passphrase and attach it to your payment. You'll send $50 through Cash App, create a passphrase, and then immediately email me and include your passphrase in that email, and I'll get your shipping information and we'll get it out to you as soon as possible. Custom orders, if you guys want to change the colors, change the color of the hoodie, color of the hat, color of the font, you can do that. Just let me know that you have a custom order, and it's just going to take a little bit longer to ship. Jari says one motive for Josh to have killed her is she might have threatened to turn him in for all the perverted crap on his computer. Yeah, something was going on with them. And if he's a creep and he's anything like his dad, you might be right, Jari. She may have threatened to turn him in. It appears as if somebody was sleeping on that couch. Now, if something happened, I think they found blood splatter on that couch. I think it's possible as soon as the boys went to sleep, she said, I'm not sleeping in the bed with you. In the morning, we're going to have to address this. I'm sleeping on the couch. And then while she's asleep, he just comes out there in the night and starts bashing her with something. It's good to see you, Cindy. Sleuth crew, we're everywhere. And then the hats are at the end. They came out really good, too. So remember 50, 45, and 40, Cash App and Venmo, and don't forget your passphrase. What's going on, Cindy? Yeah, Chandler's my dude. You are very late. So notice under the bill of the hat, it says we're everywhere. Sleuth crew, and under the brim says we're everywhere. Sick. All right, guys, don't forget, Sleuth Intuition goes live Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Sundays is for members only. And if you're interested in being a guest, let me know. Shoot me an email. We'll get you on. Doesn't matter who you are. It could be a watcher, member, an expert, whatever. Let me know what you want to talk about, and maybe we'll get you set up as a guest. Other than that, you guys, I'll see you again very soon. Take care of yourselves. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Peace.